All right, guys. Sorry I'm not with you today. So this is coming from the 3.3, 3.4 activity notes, and just kind of wanted to go through some things quickly. As you guys could see, and you guys can pause the video as frequently as you want to. We looked at the idea of increasing and decreasing functions, and increasing. If I look at it as x gets bigger, y gets bigger, so I can see that this is getting bigger. I can look at decreasing and saying as x is getting bigger, y is getting smaller. So you can see that increasing is going up, decreasing is going down. And then we also have something called a constant function, in which the y value is exactly the same the entire time. And during the course of the activities that you guys have done, you guys have looked at different types of shapes. And when I look at increasing, decreasing graphs, there's two possibilities, that it could be a linear function or exponential. So linear has a straight line, and it has a form of ax plus b. And then I also have an exponential function, which could be decreasing or increasing. It's a curve, more or less, but it's going to be of the form of a times b to some power plus c. Okay, so it's going to be a times something to some power, or usually, and that has to be a variable. Okay, so like we wanted to look at these. And we wanted to identify, hey, are these linear or are they not linear? Or are they exponential? So like, for this first one, I think you guys were able to determine, hey, that's linear. That's linear because it's of mx plus b form. Okay. If I were to look at 2, I can notice that x is my exponent, which is a good sign to see if it's exponential. Then linear for this last one because it is of mx plus b form. Okay. And then if I look at these 3, just think about it, take a guess at what you guys think each of these are. And then you guys move the video ahead. I think this first one's an exponential because it has x as an exponent. This next one's linear because it has the mx plus b form. And then this last one is exponential because it has an x as an exponent. So then we wanted to look at these graphs and trying to figure out what they were, okay? So this is a straight line. That would mean it would be linear, and these are two curves. Actually, they're exactly the same curve, but no matter what, because these are curvous in shape, we could say that this and this are exponential, okay? If you guys flip over the page, you do have some definitions for absolute minimum and absolute maximum. And when I think about an absolute minimum, I think of it as a valley point. And an absolute maximum has a mountain point, or a high point. It's a low point for a min, high point for a max. And there's two graphs that give us that type of curve or shape with mins and maxes. And one's quadratic, and quadratic is a U-shaped curve like this. It has an x squared in it. That's one of the big ways that you guys can identify if it's quadratic. And then if I look at absolute value, it has a V shape to it. And it has a equation form of y equals a times x plus h minus k. Something like that. But the big thing is it does have absolute value bars. Like it has vertical bars around it. And that'll be a good way to tell if it's an absolute value function. So looking at these two, just try to figure out 1 through 6 what you guys think those are. So I found number 1 to be quadratic, number 2 to be an absolute value. And if I look at these two, well, what are these two? Well, hey, you know, looking at that, that is an example of an exponential. And then this one's linear. And then this is an example of exponential. And then the other one is absolute value. If I look at these two, you should be able to hopefully think they're exactly the same. I think they might be actually the same as 6 too. So you can tell these are both absolute value. Okay. All right, guys. If you guys could try to finish up that 3.4 worksheet that you guys got yesterday, you're going to be asked to turn that in for me. There are like 6 questions that you guys weren't able to do. Now, hopefully, you guys are able to do them just to tell me if they're linear, absolute value, if they're quadratic, or if they are linear. Thanks, guys.